In the comments on other videos on this channel, I receive a lot of questions about practicing. I have a few tips for you. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Brian from Airflow Music. Alongside publishing our books for brass players, we're releasing a bunch of videos with tips to make brass playing easier for you. So if you're new here, please subscribe to the Airflow Music channel so you're notified of all of our videos. Once again, I'm on the road this week, so this video is recorded in my hotel room. I apologise if the lighting or sound are not up to par. In particular, it's quite noisy in the background here. We'll have to live with it for one more week. This video is part of the Trumpet A-Z series. As I said, I'd like to offer some tips on practicing. I might be reaching a little to make this fit in the alphabet, but Q is for quality. Practicing is something we all have to do, not only to keep our chops together, but also to improve our playing. The most common questions I receive in the comments on these videos, or in messages and comments on Facebook, are about what to practice, and how to practice to get most value for our practice time. For example, many people have limited practice time due to work commitments and things like that. Here are some tips. The question of what to practice is a big one. In videos like these, I can really only offer generic advice, which is why I tend to stick to common sense topics. Obviously, in a one-on-one lesson, I can better address what your specific needs are. So, my best basic tip for this, in the absence of any personalised advice, is to have two particular books at your disposal. Namely, the Arbon, which is the Bible of method books, as far as I'm concerned, and the Herbert L. Clark Technical Studies. Between those two books, you can cover pretty much all your technical bases. Before I get a ton of comments complaining that they don't go above a certain range, I should also say that you can transpose any of the exercises in either of those books into higher keys. I'll post Amazon links to both of them in the description below this video. If you don't know where to start with these books, I recommend starting at the beginning of both of them. With the Arbon in particular, you can begin with the first few exercises from each of the early sections of the book, the long tones, the articulation, and the intervals. With the Clark, I'd focus on the first two studies to begin with, focusing on playing softly and evenly. The tempo markings on those exercises are targets for once you get them under your fingers. Once you can get the first two exercises going pretty well, then you can move on to Clark 3, and so on. The notion of quality practice is a bit of a double-edged sword. We're beset by sayings like quality, not quantity, and work smart, not hard, which get applied to many things in life, instrumental practice included. While these are worthwhile goals, there is essentially no substitute for time spent playing the horn, particularly when you're working on something new. Certainly you can and should be methodical, but at a certain point, you need to just play something a lot of times in order to properly internalise the sensation of playing it. We talked a little about that in the previous video, K for kinesthesia. When I'm teaching, I may have specific tips for specific exercises, but they will tend to work best if you've already played something a lot. One thing that can really help in organising your practice is to recognise the difference between warming up, technical maintenance, and practising newer things to improve. All are valuable and worthwhile things to spend some of your time on. By establishing the boundaries between each, you can split up your time and better organise certain sections. For example, great time savings can be made in the maintenance section of your practice by streamlining the exercises you play and by altering how you play them slightly, targeting multiple techniques in a single exercise. This is actually the root concept behind my combination drills books. You can follow links in the description below to learn more about them at airflowmusic.com. Superficially, those exercises are developed scales in odd meters. But if you practice according to the instructions, you also work on slurring, articulation, range connectivity, breath accents, and a plethora of other things. Another time saver for your maintenance practice is to be less rigid about a daily routine. Once certain exercises are well established in your technique and muscle memory, you don't necessarily need to play them every day. Instead, hitting them 2 or 3 times a week may be enough to keep them maintained so you have more time to work on other things. In addition, organising your maintenance this way allows you to better listen to your body and work on things that you really feel like you need to at the time. For example, if your tonguing doesn't seem as crisp as you might like, then you could devote more time to that. With this being said, it's particularly important to recognise the things which you are legitimately maintaining, rather than still practising to get them to where you want or need them to be. A final point about quality practice is to be meticulous about what you're maintaining or practising. Go as slowly as necessary to play something with smooth airflow all the way through. Pay attention to detail and go back and fix problems. Then play them multiple times correctly before moving on. If you have limited time, this may mean that you don't get as far as you are hoping to into a particular practice session, in terms of the exercises that you play, but ultimately the practice will be more valuable. If you're stuck with practicing, particularly if you've been trying to go it alone, just learning to play by playing in band class, or watching videos on the internet like this, I strongly recommend consulting with a qualified teacher. I always have spots in my schedule for either in-person lessons if you happen to live in or around New York City, or for Skype lessons if you live practically anywhere else. You can also keep an eye on my performance schedule at my personal website, which is linked in the description below. If I'm visiting your city or town on tour, it may well be possible to organise a lesson while I'm there. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or other feedback about it, please comment below. Otherwise, please hit that like button, subscribe to the Airflow Music channel, and share this video with your friends on Facebook and Twitter. I'll be back on Monday with another exercise of the week, and again next Friday with more Trumpet A-Z. In the meantime, please visit airflowmusic.com and peruse the books, exercises, and other merchandise we have on offer. All sales directly support making these videos. I'll see you on the next video. Now, with quality in mind, go practice.